Karen, thank you. All right, and at this time, I'm going to give the floor to Aaron. Please take it from here, Aaron, and we would like to hear about your foundation.
Sure. Thank you, Erhan. And again, welcome to everyone who's on the call. And we really appreciate the opportunity that Erhan and your organization has given us. So, I'll give a quick overview, and my colleague Matt, Matt, feel free to jump in anywhere you like. And Erhan, you've asked me to give an overview of our foundation. I'm going to start with a 60,000-foot overview of the Florida Chamber Enterprise. And then I can focus on the work of the foundation and how that drives our agenda and how we aim to secure Florida's future. So first, with the Florida Chamber of Commerce, we primarily have three areas, departments or divisions that we focus on to help, again, secure Florida's future. So as the Chamber of Commerce, we fight for free enterprise. We believe in free enterprise, and we believe that that will actually resolve a lot of the issues and make Florida the best place to do business, to raise a family, to live and play. So, we invite, we have over 1,000 people. Well, it's about 1,000 people a day net moving to Florida every day. That was pre-COVID. During COVID, it was about 800, but it's getting back to about 1,000. So that's a lot of influx of people, and we welcome that. We welcome all people to come to Florida, live, work, and play. So again, that overview, the Florida Chamber of Commerce, our advocacy division, we have a group of policy directors who go to the Capitol, not just during session, but year round, and really advocate for best business legislation. We, again, want this to be the best place and atmosphere for you to run your businesses, large or small. We also have a political arm here at the Florida Chamber. The political arm looks about 1 to 2 election cycles out and works very hard at getting pro-business folks elected, and actually, folks who are against business unelected. So it's a bipartisan group. Doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on, but if you're pro-business, we're going to fight for you, for those candidates. On the foundation side, that third, leg of the stool, so to speak, the foundation is a group of visionary business leaders throughout Florida, Florida's top business leaders, that look 2 to 30 years out. So we put the long term over the short term on the foundation side. Now, again, going back to the advocacy side, our advocacy team and policy directors, they look 1 to 2 years ahead. What can they get done right away in the legislature that's good now? The strength of those three entities here at the Florida Chamber really adds the strength and power of what we do to help all business people in Florida. So again, we appreciate the Turkish American businesses of the South asking us these questions, asking how you can be involved. And we appreciate the opportunity of letting you know what we're doing to make Florida the best place to do business and raise a family. So again, you always hear me put those two hand in hand. We do fight for free enterprise, but we truly, looking at that long term, the 2 to 30 years and securing Florida's future, we want families to thrive, quality of life to thrive, and we believe that's done by business leaders through business and growing the economy. That's the 60,000-foot overview. What I think I'll jump into on the foundation side, the foundation is the research arm for the Florida Chamber, and we believe in data-driven research that gives business leaders and legislators, actual numbers. So things aren't driven by emotion, but they're driven by actual data and how we can improve and have business leaders in their areas improve things in Florida. So the Florida 2030 Blueprint is our guide to secure Florida's future. We can, Erhan, we can give you a link to that you can send to your members after the presentation. It's right on our website, but flchamber.com, go to Foundation, Florida 2030. But we'll give you that link to send out, Erhan. So the Florida 2030 Blueprint, that's a culmination of 3 years of research, $2.5 million. We traveled the state and interviewed over 10,000 Floridians to get input on what Florida will be like in 2030 and what do we need to do to stay ahead of the game and not fall behind. So we released that in 2018. At that time, we were expecting and anticipating 6 million people to move to Florida by 2030. So we're about halfway there. We're now anticipating 3.5 million people moving here by 2030. So with that influx of people, about 1,000 a day, what do we need to do to keep schools proficient, to have enough schools, to build enough roads, to repair old roads, bridges, everything we need for the talent and workforce, economics, civic and governance, transportation, infrastructure. And then again, and we also have goals to reduce childhood poverty. We want to do everything we can to improve and secure Florida's future. So in that body of research, we work on a 6-pillar model, and that's basically what I just mentioned: the talent pillar, transportation, infrastructure, and we have 39 goals. That sounds like a lot of goals, but we have business leaders who are helping us drive those, and you can see those in the link that we will send you. And you can see for all of the people on this presentation, some may align with the transportation and infrastructure. Some may align with education and workforce needs. Some might align with civics and governance. So you can see where you align and how you might want to get involved. But no, these are the things that we're fighting for. And we're a small organization of about 40. Our strength is in our membership. So our membership at the Florida Chamber is very important. We're a nonprofit organization, and all the work we do to secure Florida's future is done through our business partners. So, for example, when we follow up after the presentation, Erhan, Matt, and I will follow up with you, giving you some information and links that you can share with your members or the people on the call. So when you see what we're involved in and what we fight for, we're fighting for your businesses in Florida. We're fighting for your families in Florida, for your children's education, who will be the next workforce in Florida. A lot of the things we do, Erhan, hearing some of your goals, one of the things we do best is introduce people and get people connected. We have 9 different events through the year. We can send you a list of those events. You can see the events for the rest of the year on our website. So there's many different ways to get involved. You can attend events, see what we're doing. Some businesses might look at those events and want to sponsor those events, or if it's a lines, might be able to be speakers at those events. But all of these events that I'm talking about, they actually help drive our agenda of everything we do year round. And all of that is really powered by members. So Erhan, if some of the information that we'll send to you, it will let your members or the businesses involved in the Turkish American businesses of the South, how they can be involved and join the membership. So with our membership, another thing you mentioned, you want to grow and strengthen relationships with the Turkish American business community, with the Florida, Chamber of Commerce, and local Chamber of Commerce, and ethnic Chamber of Commerces. So we do have a relationship with most of the local chambers throughout the state, one common misconception is we are not affiliated or related. You know, we're all independent, but we provide a lot of the data. We want to give every local community the ammunition and the data that will help the state move forward. So we do encourage you and other businesses, anybody on this presentation, we encourage you to support your local chamber because they're doing the work at the local level. What we're doing here at the state level is one of the most important things we're doing is driving policy at the state capitol. So Florida now, right now, we all enjoy a tax-free state. That's why a lot of businesses want to come here. I'm assuming it's why a lot of the Turkish American business leaders chose to come to Florida. If we want to keep enjoying that, we need to keep the right people elected. We need to keep pro-business people elected. And if you should choose to join and be a partner with us at the Florida Chamber, then know that that is what your membership dollars are helping us do. But then again, we have many events that you can get involved in. We have a lot of different councils you can get involved in, but all of that begins with membership. Everything we do already helps you, but we only grow stronger by you joining our membership. To dive a little more into the foundation, and the reason I headed back off into that about membership is the Florida 2030 blueprint, the 6 pillars, the 39 goals, that research drives, that gets put into the hand of our policy directors, that drives the agenda at the, state capitol. And also when I mention drive the agenda, we at the Florida Chamber, we don't decide, what we want to drive, what agendas we want to drive. It's business leaders in the state of Florida on our board of directors that drive our agenda. So again, we're a membership organization led and run by our board of directors who are business leaders in Florida, and they are the ones that give us our marching orders of how do we secure Florida's future. It's our foundation that drives the research and gives us the data-driven numbers. Speaking of, oh, go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to dovetail just off of something you said because I think it's very powerful. There are not a lot of organizations which are truly member-driven, and we are, whether it be our foundation or whether it be our legislative agenda. We seek input from our investors. It goes through a series of meetings with what we call partnerships, coalitions, or committees. And then it gets voted on by our board of directors. And the important thing about that is it's not a rubber stamp. The gloves can come off. It can be contentious. But what our board of directors realize is that we ask them to take the stance of not what is good for my company, but what is good for Florida. And ultimately, they realize it. It's that ability to build a broad-based business coalition and go to the state capitol at the beginning of session with a unified business agenda saying, hey guys, this is what we're going to get passed. You're going to help us get it passed, or we're going to work to get someone in there that will. And Aaron mentioned, legislative victories. Session ended about 2 weeks ago. But we didn't stop. I mean, we were already planning for 2023. So something else which is extremely important is that there are a lot of issues which can be very, very contentious. And people don't want to be out in the forefront. COVID liability protection. We were going against Florida's billboard attorneys who are very, very well funded. I mean, Mark Morgan's house probably cost more than the entire budget of the Florida Chamber. But we have to have the resources to go toe-to-toe with them to protect Floridians from, frivolous lawsuits and groups that want to derail a pro-growth, pro-job strategy. So it's really, really important to realize that, you know, we truly are a membership-driven organization, but it's also about relationships. Just one portion of the political is the Florida Institute for Political Leadership. These are, I like to call it Civics 101. These are training seminars for anyone that's running for office. It could be dog catcher, it could be governor. And we have these all over the state. We've probably, in the last election cycle, I think we trained 300 or 400 candidates. This session, it's more than that. We currently have them scheduled all over the state. What's very, very important is that very early on in their people's careers, they remember that we help them. How do I run a campaign? What are key issues? How do I interface with people in public? And they remember that. As they advance through their careers, we have that ability to walk into their door and state our case. They may not necessarily agree with us, but at least we have that relationship. We have that open door. And it's just about mutual, like I said, they may not always agree with us, but it's just that ability to have long-standing relationships as opposed to some ephemeral tweet on Instablab that, you know, is not long lasting. We're all about relationships. We're all about working together to reach common ground to address issues and challenges in Florida.
And actually, and Matt, one of the things I'll tail off on what Matt just said, Erhan, is anyone on this call, anyone in the Turkish American Business of the South organization, if you have anyone new to politics, or even if they're not, but they want this training program that we put on, it helps, you know, how do I get started? How do I run a campaign? How do I fundraise? How do I get these? So we actually, as Matt said, we kind of call it, you know, what did you call it? Civics 101 or?
Call it civic, but you know, how to run a campaign 101, but you know.
Well, no, yeah. So it's, we want to help folks get started, not have to start from scratch. So we can get anyone in your organization connected with this. But again, like Matt said, anyone in the state running for any office, we will help that train them. But in doing so, we're building a relationship. We're knowing who's pro-business from the start. And even if maybe we don't see eye to eye on certain agendas, if they climb up the political ladder, they still know and trust us. It's okay to have different views, but we know who we're working with. So again, just adds to the power of what we do. And I think just, you know, we work a lot on business. Everything we do is free enterprise, but some of the other things, when we talk about the foundation, a lot of our foundation work, I mentioned this earlier, but I'll kind of add a little bit to it. When we talk about education and the talent pillar, we talk about learners to earners. How do we make young learners become breadwinners for the family? I also like to think of it as cradle to career. So we focus on improving kindergarten and third grade reading levels. And we believe business leaders should be involved in that in their community, because it's not only helping their families, but it's helping the next workforce, the next generation of our workers. We work to improve all the way through grade school, college, university level training, but we also know the value of certificates and technical training. College isn't for everyone, and there's a lot of high-paying jobs that are in high demand that we need. And even through COVID shutdown, when people in the hospitality industry were losing their jobs, we looked at it as an opportunity to get them retrained and upskilled to get higher living wages, provide better for their family, and provide a better workforce for all of our companies, your companies out there. So education and talent is very important to us. And as I mentioned before, we actually have a goal of reducing childhood poverty in Florida to less than 10% by 2030. And we have a plan to do that. We can't do all the work ourselves. Again, we're an organization of 40, but we believe if business leaders throughout Florida help with our plan, which we have down to the zip code level. We have tools on our website that will show you the number of children in poverty in every, not just county, but every zip code in Florida. We have a tool on our website that shows what the third grade reading levels are at every elementary school, public elementary school in Florida. And where there's issues and struggles, we want to improve that because we want every single person in Florida to have a life and a path to prosperity. And that's how we think we will improve and secure Florida's future. So,
Aaron, just one of the things that he had mentioned is we have a mantra, we have a saying in our foundation, because when you look at the number of kids that are in poverty, it's over 800,000 in Florida, and everyone's like, that's real daunting. And it is daunting, but sort of our mantra, what Aaron mentioned, is sort of one zip code at a time. And so what we're able to do is, using that information that can drill down to a county or a zip code level, we are getting like zip code champions. And it's much more, you're not trying to clean up the entire state of Florida. You imagine being like a house cleaner, you got to clean up the state of Florida. Instead, you're cleaning one house. It's that ability to take information and then put it into key people's hands where they'll take ownership of that zip code. And so just that idea of sort of one zip code at a time has a huge impact on the ability to be very, very precise and focused and key in on the areas that truly need the help.
And I think you can also take advantage of lessons learned from that zip code and apply it to the next zip code.
And actually, Erhan, you hit it on the head. We have a whole team and department that works on that. And what you just said, we call promising practices. And we've identified 10 root causes for poverty, why people are in poverty, and what keeps them in poverty. And what you just said is not every zip code is different. There might be one zip code in South Florida that has similar issues than one in North Florida, whether it's a food desert or healthcare needs or transportation. And we're working on promising practices where, not just promising practices, but where on our website, you can look at what zip codes align with those issues and what's worked in one. So I'm just reiterating what you just said. We're actually working on that. We're also running short on time. So Erhan, do you have questions of us or anything you would like to add or that we can add for your group?
Actually, we are broadcasting this as well. So there is a question: how do you match your members actually for the goals of 6 pillars and 39 goals, especially in transportation, infrastructure, and technology?
Okay, so how do we match our membership with the goals? So our members can be involved.
How do you match your members to, my understanding from this question is, how do you match your members to work on the same goal, either one of those 6 pillars and 39 goals, either one of them? How do you match your members to provide the best service, I think, for those goals?
So whenever we have a new member, we have an onboarding call and we have a one-on-one discussion with the member, and we ask, what are you interested in? How do you want to be aligned? And then, depending on the alignment, we'll get you involved in whatever various aspects. So we don't arbitrarily choose. It's like our president often says, we're good at a lot of things, but we're not good at reading minds. So we talk to our members one-on-one. If somebody comes on as a member, we'll ask them, what are your interests? How can we help you? And where would you like to be involved? So that's how we align our members with the pillars.
It's also important, if you're a relatively large employer, it's not just the individual that joins, but it's the organization. So you can designate people within the organization. You may have someone that's interested in infrastructure. You may have someone that's interested in tort reform. You may have someone that's business development that wants to attend events, or you may have a speaker on import export that might be good at our trade and logistics summit. It's sort of up to each, as Aaron said. We'll speak with you, we'll find out your interest, but then you can designate other people within the organization to take advantage of what we have to offer.
I can tell one thing, a majority of we are a diverse organization, and the majority of our members actually are pro-business and pro-job. So I don't see any negativity there. I think we are aligned on that perspective. That was the only question I had, Aaron.
So yeah, we're definitely pro-business and pro-jobs. Everything we do is aligned towards free enterprise and keeping that moving forward. So, Erhan, we will go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say the only jobs that we really are not in support of are the ones that are putting up all those lawyer billboards up along I-95 and along 74. But
well, and really to on that point, so we have a lot of corporate and business lawyers who are members, and we actually have other lawyers that are members. And it's interesting, we talk about we're not against, when you need a trial lawyer, you need one, and that's important. So we're not against trial lawyers, but we're against the policy and the abuse of practices in that policy. So Florida, is it Matt, is it 40, we're 49th or 46th?
46. We're 46 out of 50th, but just one statistic which stands out. I think that 8% of the homes in the United States are in Florida, but 76% of the lawsuits associated with homes are filed in Florida. So let that sink in. 8% of the homes, 76% of the lawsuits, 24% in the other 49 states. That's one reason that more money goes when things settle. The amount of money that goes to lawyers as opposed to the individuals I think it's like 70%. That instead of going to fixing that damaged home, it goes into lawyers' pockets.
And a lot of that comes out of businesses. So again, we're not against lawyers, we're against the practices of and so with, as Matt said, with that high number of cases in Florida, we've calculated, I think it's about $4,200 per taxpayer per year that goes towards lawsuit abuse. So that's $4,200 every taxpayer could save if we reformed the system. So that's just another way we're fighting for business owners and people in Florida. So Erhan, we will put together some of the information, membership information, a link to the Florida 2030 blueprint. We'll put a link to the floridascorecard.org. We didn't even talk about that, but that's a tool we have open to everyone.
So that's actually on the website, Florida Scorecard. And I was wondering, what is that for? Because to my understanding, the southern states, economic power of southern states last year it reached to $5.7 trillion. So that's a really excellent number. But and it is actually it is in total it is larger than the California, but of course in total of all states in the southern region. That being said, the scorecard, how do you or what is the scorecard? Scorecard.
So, and again, we'll send a link, but for anybody who wants to view it, it's thefloridascorecard.org. You have to make sure to start with the floridascorecard.org. And this is a tool that we created. It's really the only one in the country. It was created out of ideas of our Community Development Partnership Council, business leaders who had this idea, who said, okay, we talk about measuring Florida, all these metrics in Florida. We talk about how do we secure Florida's future, but who's measuring it? So a lot of people had individual measurements. It was never in one place. So through the funding of our foundation members and the membership, we were able to build this scorecard. The data comes from different places, all legitimate data sources that we put in one place. And when you go there, you'll first see all of these metrics for the state of Florida. But with the click of a button, you can drill down to your county. So we have all 67 counties in Florida, and it has, the statistics of unemployment, cash migration, children in poverty, third grade reading levels, all of the 39 goals plus more. So it is a scorecard. So we're the Florida Chamber. We love people to come to Florida, and we want to tell all the good things about Florida. But the Florida Scorecard, it's not just to shine a good light on Florida, it's to shine the truth. And if something is going the wrong direction, we want people to see that it's going the wrong direction, so that then our business leaders and legislators will take action to get it moving in the right direction. Again, we don't just say we want to secure Florida's future. We want to secure Florida's future, and we want business leaders to make it happen. So the floridascorecard.org, we ask every business leader throughout the entire state to start every board meeting, civics meeting. In fact, you could start, well, you're in the southern region, so not everybody would be interested in Florida, but every one of your members that's in Florida, they could start a meeting with, here's the numbers that matter to our county. How are we doing? So it's a tool we've created and provided for everyone to use. Yep.
I was just going to mention that at the top, you can actually click on the 6 pillars, which will bring up individual matrix associated with that. And something else that we've done, particularly with local chambers, local EDCs, is that they've taken that model and they've been able to we let them just put their own logo on it, because it's done through our foundation, where they're taking that data and they're able to use it just to share, with their local communities. I don't know how many variations of that. I think it's like 50 plus where they've taken, but it's, it's all over the state. And we encourage that, because the more people that know about it, it's more beneficial to Florida, and it opens people's eyes. And, they can't look at certain things through, they can't ignore third grade reading levels. They can't ignore poverty. It sort of takes the blinders off.
Right. Great. Those are I think those foundational information is very useful, absolutely, for our businesses. And the question that I have in mind is, how many types of memberships available? If we can give this briefly to our audiences right now.
And we can send that in the follow-up email as well. So there's a variety of memberships, at our Board of Governors level. So we have quarterly calls where we have, usually once a year, we'll have the governor, we'll have some of the cabinet members, but quarterly we'll have meetings, and you get an update on a lot of the things that we're doing. And that's our Board of Governor level. There's various levels within that, but we can email all of those. There are different opportunities on the foundation side, but everything really starts with membership.
Right, absolutely. So we are going to get the membership information, and also we are going to visit the scorecard and the 6 pillars and 39 goals. So we can find more information to share with our member organizations. Mostly we are on the mid and small size corporations, and but I'm pretty sure they will be interested in.
Fantastic. And there are benefits for the small businesses too. If we have a small business council call for our members as well. And Matt, is that quarterly or every other month?
I think it's vacillated. I think it's quarterly. Well, it seems maybe bi-monthly. It's either bi-monthly or quarterly.
Yeah, but that's where at the Small Business Council, where our members can get together and hear ideas, gather information, and help them move forward as well.
One of the things that Aaron mentioned was, we very much have a positive working relationship with local chambers. We actually have a local chamber federation, probably more than 100 members. During COVID, we were truly a resource for local chambers. We actually had a weekly call, restarting, your business, not one size fits all. We had SBA Administrator Wheeler on there answering questions about restarting business. We had our chief economist have a blueprint on, restarting, business. And, we would have 250 local chambers on that call, and I'm not exaggerating. So
wow,
we work hand in hand with them. There are ears on the ground that they may bring to our attention issues that we're not aware of that have statewide implications. And conversely, we also will utilize them to bring about, the grassroots ability to reach more than 1 million plus employees across the state via our local chamber federation on issues which could impact them.
great. I think I don't have any other questions to ask, neither from our audience and nor from me. But those information that you provided, it is very useful. I'm pretty sure they will take much more glance at or further glance at the Florida Chamber of Commerce's website, and we will also send our audiences, our members actually, the information about the FCC. Then we will take it from there.
Right.
And hopefully we will have a couple of members to join that organization.
That would be fantastic, and we look forward to engagement and partnership with any of the businesses involved in the Turkish American business of the South. Erhan, thank you, and to everyone who's joined us, just thank you for all of you in Florida for bringing your business to Florida, raising your families here in Florida, and helping us make it the best state to do business, live, work, and play. So, Erhan, thank you and your team very much.
Take care.
My pleasure. Thank you. You too. Take care. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.